Welcome, friends. I'm Allison Miller, filling in for Terry Stiles this week, and here with my co-host, Jim Hughes.
And here with Allison Miller once again.
We're bringing you this edition of Oxford News This Week. In today's headlines, School Board calls on legislature for an independent review of the 2021 tragedy, severe storms leave thousands without power and some needing emergency response, and the power of pickleball for the Oxford community. So sit back and stay tuned because you're watching Oxford News This Week. In an update to a story we brought you last week, a Detroit News investigation into the Oxford High School tragedy has prompted responses from Oakland County and the Oxford Community Schools Board of Education. At its meeting last Tuesday, the board voted 6-0 to pass a resolution calling on the legislature to mandate and fund a comprehensive independent review of the emergency response to the 2021 attack. The resolution said the independent review should also cover relevant events and agencies at all stages before and after the tragedy. The day after the board meeting, Steve St. Juliana, the father of victim Hannah St. Juliana, said the families of victims have asked the school board to ensure the scope of the independent review goes beyond the response of police and emergency crews. The school board's resolution said that 3 recent articles in the Detroit News show alarming differences between emergency response agencies in response to the tragedy. Additionally, Oakland County has initiated the process to hire an independent firm to conduct an after-action review of the tragedy. A statement from the county's spokesman said that Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, Board of Commissioners Chairman David T. Woodward, and Sheriff Mike Bouchard are working together to ensure the review takes place. The Board of Commissioners is allegedly scheduled to consider the funding September 5th, and the county will issue a request for proposal to identify independent review firms by the middle of this month. We will continue to bring you updates on this story as we learn more. Jim?
Thanks, Allison. Oxford Addison Youth Assistance is launching a brand new mentoring program to help children gain self-confidence and communication skills called the Wildcat Cub Club. The program partners with local Oxford, Addison, and Leonard adult volunteers with elementary school children. Oxford Addison Youth Assistance is seeking adult volunteers to join the program that begins this fall. Any compassionate adult who can donate 1 hour per week to support an elementary school child is welcome to apply as a volunteer. Volunteers will assist the activities such as crafts, games, and puzzles, as well as other academic support and engaging conversations. Volunteers are positive role models and supportive friends to children who could benefit from the extra attention and the encouragement. Oxford Addison Youth Assistance is seeking volunteers who are open-minded, consistent, patient, accepting, creative, empathetic, and are good listeners. To learn more about the program, contact the Oxford Addison Youth Assistance and their phone number, 248-460-7011. I'll repeat it again, 248-460-7011. Allison?
For those dreaming of visiting new places or needing a break from the rush of life, a variety of travel options are coming to communities near you. The Oxford and Independent Senior Centers present an extended travel show. On Friday, October 4th, representatives from Colette Travel, Shoreline Tours and Travel, and Premier World Discovery will present the highlights of upcoming tours available to local residents and seniors. Oxford Township Parks and Recreation works with various travel companies to create active aging travel opportunities for the community. Although the Oxford Senior Center offers day trips to local events and highlights, the presentations at the extended travel show will feature overnight trips across the country and even the globe. Some upcoming trips include a sold-out venture into the Hudson River Valley and the castles of New York, and a 7-night cruise across Portugal and Spain. The 2-hour extended travel show begins at 9:30 a.m. at the Independent Senior Center in Clintonwood Park in Clarkston. Registration is required and limited spots are available. For more information, contact the Oxford Senior Center at 248-628-1720 and extension 107. Jim?
Kids Building Michigan is bringing a second annual event to the Seymour Lake Township Park to help children and teenagers explore careers in skilled trades. The Kids Building Michigan is a nonprofit organization that with the belief that the future of construction starts in childhood. This Sunday, the Kids Building Michigan event will feature everything from excavators to food trucks and hands-on experiences to unique demonstrations. Brian Webster is the president and founder of Kids Building Michigan and the owner of Oxford-based company Webster Excavating. Webster says that through the event, he is trying to plant a seed that will combat the industry-wide shortage right now of skilled workers that he believes is getting worse. He wants to show younger generation that working in the trades is not the last resort, but a good career. The Kids Building Michigan event runs from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Admission is free. Families can experience directional, boring, and paving firsthand, and the event also gives attendees the chance to operate heavy machinery. Kids Building Michigan is fueled by support from the donors and sponsoring skilled trade companies. To learn more about the kidsbuildingmichigan.com, you can learn more there again, kidsbuildingmichigan.com. Feel free to log on when you can. Allison?
Explore the magic and mystery that lies outside with the Oakland County Parks nature education programs. Oakland County Parks contain 2 nature centers, one in Clarkston and another in Madison Heights. On top of field trips and birthday parties, the nature centers provide seasonal programs for children of all ages, families, and individuals. With fall just around the corner, there are a selection of brand new programs to explore and register for. At the Red Oaks Nature Center at the end of this month, participants can try their hand at grinding apples and pressing cider. To celebrate Grandparents' Day this Saturday, the Wint Nature Center is bringing a Nature's Nightlife program to help generations explore what it takes to be one of Michigan's nocturnal animals. Then, to ring in the autumn equinox, Soul Practices' Terry Williams will lead a drum circle experience to connect with the rhythms of the season. There are dozens more fall and winter programs to explore. The Morning Munchkins events for children ages 3 to 6 on Fridays gives children the space to explore a hands-on nature-based activity. Finally, drop-off programs for homeschooled youth or virtual learning settings gives kids a chance to connect with nature and peers. To learn more about the nature centers, visit the Oakland County website at oakgov.com. Jim?
Severe storms left a large aftermath in Oakland County this past week. Over the 200,000 DTE customers were actually left without power, and the Sheriff's Office received nearly 1,500 calls. Strong winds snapped power poles created by downed wires and hazards that left damages, buildings, and vehicles. The storms not only impacted homeowners and the closing of closed businesses, it even impacted the Oxford High School, where students had a day off Wednesday because of the lack of power in the building. The storm likely caught many residents enjoying the weather by surprise. The Oakland County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team responded to 6 emergency calls on the water within 90 minutes, including 3 capsized watercraft, 2 possible drownings, and 1 missing kayaker. With the assistance from the Southeast Michigan Dive Group, strike teams each reported an incident was handled. The first responders rescued 3 people, and investigations accounted for those who were missing. Now the storms have rolled through Michigan. Attorney General Dana Nessel is asking those affected by power outages, damage, and other storm impacts to fill out a form about the experience. In the post on the Facebook, Nessel wrote that the affected residents' feedback will be used when the Attorney General intervenes in the upcoming rate cases and hopes to lower energy companies' rate increases. To find the feedback form, you can visit Michigan Department of Attorney General and go to the Facebook page and fill out that form. Allison?
On the same day that the brand new $35 million McLaren Oakland Oxford facility opened, McLaren Healthcare was hit by a ransomware attack. Last week, McLaren issued a statement that its IT platforms were restored and the health system's clinical and administrative operations are fully functional again across Michigan. For most of last month, providers at McLaren facilities could not access patients' electronic medical records. In the statement from McLaren, the healthcare company said clinical operations were largely maintained through the network of restoration networks. McLaren staff continue to provide patient care through paper-based recording of patient data and results. However, some patients told the Detroit Free Press that the attack led to the cancellation of cardiac tests and radiation treatments for cancer. Some ambulances were diverted and appointments canceled because physicians could not access reports and results. Staff will have to manually input information from the 3-week outage before details about medical care that occurred in the period will be visible in patients' electronic charts. The temporary procedures put in place during the disruption have been lifted, and McLaren said it is continuing to work with cybersecurity experts to determine what, if any, patient or employee information was compromised due to the attack. Jim?
In our Behind the Lens segment, I knew you wrote this too, Allison. Bark to School. The Oxford Wildcat Pack is a group of trained facility therapy dogs that work with students at the Oxford schools. I love your headlines. The pack was established back in 2022 to help support the social and emotional learning after taking their well-deserved summer break. The pack is ready to help create Paw Strive start to the school year. Some of these photos show the dogs interacting with students and staff at their respective schools. Heading back to school can be rough with these furry friends and might have made it something to bark about. I love when you write that stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, I think you like writing it too, right?
I love stories about animals. It's so easy to make funny puns about them.
That was awesome. That's awesome. Going back to the one story we were reading about the power outage.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Dan Weiss and I, he's the sports producer. You've seen him, obviously. We were over there covering the swim meet, okay?
Okay.
Now, we got over there. The power was out in the school.
On Tuesday? Or Wednesday?
Yeah, I think it was whatever day. I think we went, was it Wednesday or whatever day? What day did the power go out the first time?
First time it was Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday night. We went over there Tuesday night, okay?
Okay.
And so we set up the equipment. Power came back on. Everybody was happy.
Good.
And we were getting ready to film, and a young lady was about to dive off the diving board. Power went off in mid-dive, okay?
No.
So these young girls, like, they were in the pool, and they
Right.
decided, well, we're going to have to reschedule this. But
Yeah.
I never had been in that. And if you go to the natatorium, and I know you said something maybe I'm like, it's hot already in there.
Yeah.
It was almost 100 degrees in there, so.
Oh, no.
Yeah, anyways, they're going to reschedule that, but it was
Good.
like, I've never seen the power go out. She was in mid-dive with the lights on.
No.
And she was okay. Everything was
Good.
fine, but it was just like, yeah, definitely it came upon pretty strong.
It sucks to get ready for a competition like that and then have it canceled in the middle, right when you're ready to go on.
Oh, right, and you can see nothing in there.
Yeah.
At all, so.
Dang.
Anyways, good stuff. I love your the Behind the Lens. And the
Thank
last
you.
story today, Allison will have Going Bananas for Baby Naming Contest. That's all coming up. We know he's here. Dave Kenny will have all the talk and science in the news. You are watching Oxford News This Week on Oxford Community Television.
Stay tuned.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from Automotive News. Chevrolet has sold more than 4 million of its Equinox compact crossovers in the U.S. over 2 decades, building a large and loyal customer base for the nameplate. But the Equinox has never done better than 3rd place in what has become the industry's largest segment. Now the brand sees an opportunity to take share from rivals with a redesign that packages more technology into a truck-like profile and entry model that starts below $30,000. With sales up 0.6% in the first half of 2024 to over 106,000 vehicles, the Equinox was 4th among compact crossovers after the formidable Japanese trio of the Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, and Nissan Rogue. Scott Bell, Vice President of Global Chevrolet, said he would put the 4th-generation Equinox up against any rival for its updated exterior design and interior technology. The 2025 Equinox is in production at General Motors' San Luis Potosi plant in Mexico. By October, the brand should have enough dealership inventory to launch a marketing campaign that's under development, Bell said. The redesigned Equinox is more muscular than the outgoing model, with more upright front end, a wider stance, and boxier wheel wells. Truck-light influences have made their way across Chevrolet's crossover lineup, including the redesigned 3-row Traverse. Earnhardt Chevrolet in Chandler, Arizona, has sold a couple of the new Equinoxes to younger buyers who have not previously owned one, said Jeremy Herman, the dealership's general sales manager. The first few to reach the store have been entry-level versions, Herman said, adding that the dealership awaits RS and Active trims with more features and color options. He said he believes Chevrolet will be able to pull in a new buyers that is, with redesign. GM is working to reduce vehicle complexity across its lineup. Chevy streamlined the Equinox's trim options to the base LT, which starts at $29,995 with shipment, and front-wheel drive, the Sporty RS, and the new off-road styled Active. It has carried over the 1.5-liter turbocharged engine that produces 175 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque with the front-wheel drive and 203 pound-feet of torque with the all-wheel drive. But there are now two transmission options, a continuously variable one with front-wheel drive and an 8-speed automatic on all-wheel drive models. The 11.3-inch infotainment touchscreen is paired with an 11-inch driver information screen, and Chevrolet offers more standard safety and driver assistant features on all trims. The Equinox is among 3 Chevrolet crossovers that start below $30,000 with shipping, in addition to the Trax and Trailblazer subcompact crossovers, Bell said. Affordability has become an issue with many consumers, he added, but Chevy has emphasized its crossover styling, technology, and value. The Trax and Trailblazers will also be Chevrolet's smallest vehicles. Compact crossovers made up 17.5% of the light vehicle market through June, according to the Automotive News Research and Data Center. That's a full percentage point higher at mid-year than at the end of 2023. The sedan segment has shrunk, and in the scheme of where we want to put our priorities, we are leveraging places of opportunity where we can get that volume back and then some, said Bell. It's not the first time we've made a decision to discontinue a model, but we're very pleased with the volume that we're doing and the segments that we're in. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
You might not imagine that there would be actual sporting news at the Oxford Board of Trustees meeting. But that's just what happened. On Wednesday night, Oxford residents Mary Spearman and Val Sorato came to the Board of Trustees about 1 year ago. They had a dream of using their fundraising money to help from the board to restripe the pickleball and tennis courts at Seymour Lake Township Park. Last week, their dream actually became a reality. Here is what the duo had to say about the grand reopening of those courts.
The new courts are in. They're absolutely gorgeous. They were full. All 8 courts were full Monday morning, bright and early. If you build it, they will come. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm just here to say thank you. Thank you for thinking of and allocating those ARPA funds to this active senior community in Oxford.
Our hope had been exceeded. Our dreams have been met. The resurfacing of the courts, they're gorgeous. They're really gorgeous. I stopped up there Sunday, which was like the day after they had, well, a couple days after they had completed, but our regular pickleball group wasn't there on Sundays. And there were 5 courts being used. And I know most of the pickleball players in the area, the older ones at least, and I did not recognize a single face on those courts. And not a single person, I would say, was over 25. They were all young people playing on there, which was wonderful. I mean, that's what we want, the up and coming generation. And as Mary alluded to, on Monday we had our first regular session that we play Monday through Friday, and we had the highest number of participants of any day, and I've been playing for 5 years, and it was the highest number we had. So as Mary said, build it and they shall come. And I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart, really. And I can't even begin to tell you the excitement. I mean, people were texting back and forth. When are the courts going to be ready? Oh, I drove up there. They've got them striped. Blah blah blah. It was like a kid on Christmas Eve. It was really wonderful. And thank you all.
There are now 8 pickleball courts and 4 tennis courts at the park. Supervised drop-ins are encouraged for tennis or even pickleball. Run from 8:30 to 11 a.m. and pick up the games are available on a first-come, first-served basis. First serve. After then, Lightning is available to play after dark up until 10 p.m. Again, that's when the nighttime activity takes place. In soccer news, the boys varsity team had a very successful road trip up north at the start of their season last month. The team traveled 4 hours north to take teams across the eastern coast of the state. The team defeated the Elk Rapids 3-0 on the 21st before tying the Traverse City West 1-1 on the 23rd. And then the weekend they had competed in the Petoskey Invitational after winning 1-0 against Marquette and scoring 5 goals to Petoskey. Petoskey's 0. The Cats came home from Petoskey's Invitational champions. They were champions of that Invitational. At the end of their trip, the team's record improved to 5-0 and 1. So good stuff. Already off to a great start with the sports and the soccer team. Look forward to more sports getting underway again as this fall moves in and upon us. We will be at the Oxford football games, amongst other sports. And again, as we mentioned a bit earlier, we did try to capture that swim meet the other night. Obviously, with the storm coming through, we had to kind of fold up the microphone cord, and we'll get that rescheduled and then try to bring that to you as well. Anyways, that wraps it up in sports. I'm Jim Hughes. We'll be back in a moment. I know Dave Kenny has another segment, and Allison Miller will be here to do the last story. You're watching Oxford News This Week.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. SpaceX is getting ready to execute the first ever civilian spacewalk. Until now, every time a human has left their spacecraft to venture into the void of space, it has been a government-trained astronaut. But the Polaris Dawn's mission, scheduled to launch on August 30th or later, is changing that, making it perhaps the most dangerous civilian space mission ever. The main source of the risk comes from the fact that the Crew Dragon, which will carry 4 explorers into orbit, lacks an airlock. When astronauts perform spacewalks or extravehicular activities, or EVAs, on the International Space Station, they don their suits and enter a sealed room. The air is then sucked out of that room before they head into open space, keeping the rest of the station sealed and full of air. The Polaris Dawn crew are due to spend up to 5 days in orbit. On the 3rd day, the entire spacecraft will depressure for about 2 hours, so even the 2 crew members who aren't leaving the capsule will have to wear specialized EVA suits. It isn't an entirely new protocol. Many of NASA's Gemini and Apollo spacecraft in the 1960s and 70s didn't have airlocks, but it is significantly more risky than an EVA, where the astronauts have a relatively safe airlock to retreat to in case of any issues. You're throwing away all the safety of your vehicle, right? Well, and it comes down now to your suit. It becomes your spaceship, says Mission Commander Jared Isaacson during an August 19th press conference. Isaacman is the head of SpaceX's Polaris program and its billionaire funder, that is. Another source of risk is the spacesuits themselves, which are brand new. They have undergone extensive testing in vacuum chambers, but any new type of equipment tends to be more risky than one that has already been put through the ringer of space. There are other dangers too. The flight will travel further from Earth than any human has been since the end of the Apollo program in 1972, and will have radiation and possibly micrometeorites to deal with. Of the 4 members, only Isaacman has previously been to space. The other 3 are a retired test pilot, SpaceX's head astronaut trainer, and one of SpaceX's lead space operation engineers. All 3 have worked in mission control for previous flights and have been in an intensive training for this mission for 2 years. Even though these are not government astronauts, they are not space tourists. They are professionals, says Laura Forchek, an independent consultant in the space industry. I don't think you could come up with 4 better non-government astronauts for this mission, she says. So while the Polaris Dawn mission has many inherent dangers, the extreme level of preparation on the part of SpaceX and its astronauts should mitigate them significantly. There is no such thing as a risk-free space mission, much less a risk-free space walk. But this is a crucial test for Crew Dragon and SpaceX. Nuke's EVA suits plus the Explorers will have nearly 40 science experiments to work on while they are up there. While every EVA is risky, I would not say that this is an extraordinarily risky thing, says Forchek. They have gone through every single scenario. They have backups and redundancies for every scenario, so they are well prepared. And good luck to them. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. So if you want to talk to your kids, you got to get it trending. I was just trying to get your attention.
Could I just ask?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
In our last story this week, going bananas for a baby naming contest. The Detroit Zoo announced last Monday that the gorilla born earlier last month is a baby girl, and the public can vote on her name. The baby is the first gorilla born in the zoo's 96-year history. She has been thriving under the care of first-time mom Bendia, father Mashindi, and the zoo's dedicated team. Detroit Zoo Communications Manager Sarah Colton said the zoo knows the baby gorilla will grow up to be a fantastic ambassador for her species, the critically endangered western lowland gorilla. Now, she just needs a name. Now through next Monday, zoo fans can vote with donations on their favorite of 5 finalist names. Each vote requires a minimum $10 donation, and fans can vote as many times as they'd like. After voting closes, the name with the highest donation amount will be named the winner. The 5 names are Usala, Amateka, Mabere, Lobeke, and Motema, each with a connection to an area in the western lowland gorilla habitat. The funds raised by the contest will support Gorilla Safe, a program that supports conservation of wild gorillas through on-the-ground protection, research, monitoring, engagement, and education. Visit DetroitZoo.org to cast a vote.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I like the last thing, that last one.
Yeah.
Motema, was it?
I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, I like the last one. That's
Good,
kinda cool.
good, yeah. All of them have names, like I think one of them is Love, or
Yeah.
there's another one that I think is Hope, because she is like a really important part of the zoo now, because she's
Right.
the first baby gorilla born there, 96 years.
Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah.
wow, that is a long time. Now,
Yeah.
have you been down there lately? I mean, it's by my house. I mean,
Oh, really?
I live in Madison Heights, and
Okay.
the zoo is in Royal Oak Township.
Nice, nice.
But I mean, I can't remember the last time I went there, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a neat little experience to go
I
there.
know.
I mean, I think when it's like really too hot, probably not, but like maybe in the fall or early spring
Yes.
or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool thing.
And then I think all of the animals are out like more reliably when it's a little bit cooler.
Oh yeah,
So,
if I was an animal, I'm going to stay in if it's
Yeah.
95, you know.
no, me too. Yeah.
Good stuff. Anyways,
Thank
always
you.
a pleasure. It's been great having you here for 2 weeks. And
Yay.
again, I know you got to go back to school pretty soon, but you're still going to be chipping in with the writing and all that. But you're always welcome on the air, and you do
Thank
a
you.
wonderful job.
Thank
and
you so
It's
much.
good to have a fresh face on TV here.
appreciate
OCTV
it.
right here can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191 and on Channel 99 on that AT&T Uverse. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, the Amazon Fire Stick, and the place I watch at home, Roku, the app as well. If you have a show idea and would like to possibly volunteer at the TV station, contact our office. OCTV can give our office a call at 248-628-9658. Ask for Terry or even Dave. A very special thank you going out to our producer and director, Kyle Stage, news writer extraordinaire and air talent, Allison Miller, station manager, Terry Stiles, who's off on assignment right now. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I invite you back next time when, again, we will take a look at Oxford News this week. Have a good week.
Bye, everyone.